deal. You already know what it is. Back in this one, another video to pump out to my young boys, maybe girls, but no, today we got something a little bit different going on. Today we're gonna be doing a story time. As y'all tapping into the video, make sure y'all hit it with a like, as it greatly supports the channel growth. Nah, it's my first. I think this might be my first time doing a story time on this channel. So that's what's up. But we in here. We in here, man, and we doing it live. So ain't gonna be no script, ain't no edits, no nothing. We just jumping right into it. I'm just jumping right into the story. So, as you see in the title, yes, this is a story about my very first, really, this is my first and only for real encounter with an actual succubus spirit. Now, I've been meaning to tell this story on the channel for quite some time now. It's always been in the back of my pocket, kind of like tucked. It's kind of been tucked. And, you know, I said I was going to tell this story on here, but it kind of slipped my mind, you know, even though this moment is a very, very important moment in my life and, you know, in my journey. And it really changed the trajectory of, you know, my walk and, you know, in the faith and everything like that. So it's a very important story. And I think, you know, those people out there who are suffering from lust, suffering from, you know, porn addiction, masturbation, all of that type of stuff, I think you could grab something from this story. So, boom, trying to think, do I got all my bases covered? Yeah, man. So, boom, I'm going to just hop right into it. So, and this was crazy. Now, this was, I believe this was a couple years ago during the pandemic time. So we looking at like 2021-ish, I believe is when this took place. Now, yeah, 2021. Now, this was during the period of time where I was kind of I don't think I was all the way in the faith yet. I was pretty much dabbling with, you know, spirituality. You know, I was doing a lot of different spiritual practices, you know, mirror gazing, sun gazing, meditation, all of this type of stuff. This when I was very first tapping into the spiritual side of things, you know, coming out of the world and being spiritual. But I wasn't necessarily fully tapped in to the Bible or, you know, tapped into fully walking with Christ and being set apart and really taking a role less travel. I wasn't on that just yet. What's going on, Dwayne? But I sat up there. This was during a period of time where I was watching, you know, certain content. I was on the phone, you know, choking the chicken, beating the drum, whatever you want to call it. You know, it was during that period of time where I was on that. So I was actually not really on it though. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's coming back. I wasn't really on it. I was trying to practice semen retention. So I was getting into that. You know, as I was going down a spiritual journey and all of that type of stuff, again, doing the sun gaze and meditation, this is when I first started practicing semen retention. And then, you know, not doing that. But then, this when I started getting the superpowers, you know, going on streaks, starting to go on no-fap streaks, and started noticing, you know, a difference. Like, okay, this is cool. But then those who have practiced semen retention before, those who have practiced no-fap, you know, you've all experienced, well, I don't know if you all experienced, but I know for the most part, I've seen people who take this lifestyle change. After a certain amount of time, you eventually start to experience, you know, wet dreams, right? And the thing with wet dreams, it was, I always heard about it and it was like, you know, that sound like on the low key. It back then it sounded like it was kind of cool because it's like, dang, you saying you get to get your rocks off in your dream. and then not really, it don't really count to yours. You losing your streak because you wasn't conscious for it. So, I sat up there when I heard about the wet dream thing. I didn't think it was a myth or nothing. I believed it, but that just wasn't something that I personally used to experience until one day I experienced my first wet dream, and it was kind of crazy. It was an instance where hopefully I ain't going too deep for y'all, but I'm gonna just keep it a buck what it was. I had the dream. It was going down in the dream, and then I literally like woke up, and it was yeah, like the dream was a wet dream. That's all I'm just saying. It was a wet dream. So that 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 threw me for a loop. I'm like, wow, this really can happen. And instead of it being something that was um oh, I lost my streak, or oh, I'm not finna oh, I don't want to do that anymore. The timing I was on, I'm like, oh, this is fire. Like it opened my eyes to something else. And again, this is at the time where we on some whole other stuff. This is why you need the Most High. This is why you need the Bible when you talking about spirituality and all of that, because you need that to sit up there and put you on the right track and balance you out, so you can stay away from, so you can know what's going on in the spiritual realm when these type of things happen. I wasn't tapped into that. In my head, I'm just like, oh, I'm having a dream, and I got my rocks off in a dream, and I got my rocks off in real life. And the thing with dreams is the dream is the closest thing to you being able to access the spiritual realm. And you being able to access the spiritual realm through your dreams, that's how you're able to have these moments where these kind of like extraterrestrial moments where you're getting deja vu, things like that. Like when I sit up there and experience deja vu, I be feeling like I be knowing that that's like a dream I done had. Like I done been here before in some kind of alternate realm, and I'm re-experiencing something, and it's like, but that's the thing with the spiritual realm. It's like it's hard to even articulate, or hard to even just to put into words like what be going on, because it's that much of a phenomenon a lot of the times. So when I have deja vu moments, I be like, yo, I swear I had a dream about this. Like in some version of me, I was in a dream, and I also see the dreamscape as kind of like you jumping through portals. Like I feel like when I be sleeping, I'm having dreams, and then you snapping from like timeline to timeline, and every time you sit up there and do that, every time you sit up there and you live in one part of your life in a dream, and then out of nowhere you went out of a whole nother part, and then you sit up there and wake up, and then when you be thinking about the dreams, I don't know if everybody experienced dreams like this, but it be like, that's why it be like you feel like it's a familiar realm that you popping into. You got me saying popping, but what's going on, Richie? But you feel like it's another realm that you just popped into. You be having memories from this realm. You be having already established like feelings towards people that you may have never even met or something like that. Like you'll just have all of these feelings as if you've been in this certain place for all your life or something like that. And that's kind of why it's hard to even decipher when you're having dreams and when you're not a lot of the times, because when you, even as crazy as the dream could be, when you're in the moment, you literally have all these pre-established feelings and things already downloaded into your body, to where it's like these things just seem normal, right? And this is kind of like the first time I'm even ever really speaking a lot of this stuff like out loud, as far as like how dreams go. So definitely let me know if this how y'all experience dreams and everything too. But yeah, like for the most part, when you get into these, when you having a dream, it's like it's like you just been there before. It's like an already pre-established thing that's already just been going on. You just jumped into a whole new realm. No, that's how I like to think about it. Like you just going from realm to realm, and you just going from dimension to dimension, and now you just jumped into a dimension where all of this crazy stuff is already happening, or this is happening, this is happening. But anyway, I digress. But anyway, I sat up there and, I had the wet dream. And then I'm like, bro, I got to sit up there and do this again. So then, and that's where, that's where it got crazy. Because in my head, I'm thinking I'm cheating the system. And I'm like, okay, I'm finna sit up there and cheat the system. That's all it is. I said I'm finna cheat the system. So then I started thriving for the wet dreams. And I was trying to keep my nofap streaks up. So I wasn't trying to sit up there and I ain't even gonna say I wasn't trying to watch certain material, because sometimes that would go into me trying to trigger these wet dreams. So I just didn't want to sit up there and do the act. I just didn't want to physically do the act of going into all of that. So I didn't want to do that. And then I didn't really care nothing about nothing else. Just don't sit up there and beat. So boom. I'm sitting up there trying to have these wet dreams. I'm going to sleep. Every time I'm about to go to sleep, I'm thinking real hard about, all of the wrong stuff, trying to I sit up there and sometimes watch a little material and then go to sleep because I'm trying to trigger these wet dreams. Because at the time, when my mind is on, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be the closest I get to being able to get my rocks off while also kind of like saving the energy or whatever. And then also at the time, this when I was kind of like, wasn't really, I wasn't really fully confident in myself, because this is a period of time where I'm sitting up there losing my essence, losing my energy, doing all sorts of other stuff. Well, I wasn't doing it at this time, but prior to this little period, this season where I wasn't on that, I'm coming from a whole life of doing this since we talking like 5, 6 years old. So I wasn't really confident in myself, wasn't really confident, didn't really have the full, testosterone up. Like I just was completely, bodied out. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, all right, I'm not even gonna be able to get no, no cheeks or nothing in real life. So I might as well sit up there and just crush in the dreamscape. This is the type of stuff I was on. This is what I was thinking about. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get my rocks off in the dream world. I'm like, I don't even need to sit up there and deal with, nobody in real life. I'm gonna sit up there and get my rocks off in the dream world. And it's crazy thinking back on it, but that's what I was on though. So boom, I'm like, all right, I'm about to get my rocks off in the dream world. I'm doing all of this stuff, thinking real hard again. I'm watching certain stuff before I go to sleep. I'm like, I'm about to get my rocks off. I'm about to have this wet dream. And I'm about to have these wet dreams. And then boom, I wasn't having them. I couldn't make it, couldn't make it shake. And it was a few times where I came close. So that was like this one when I started also trying to get into lucid dreaming. So for those who don't know what lucid dreaming, that's essentially just you dreaming, but that's when you kind of like break out of the frame of you just being a spectator into your dream, and you actually tapping in and taking full control. That's where you like, I know this is a dream. I'm about to start functioning and doing regular stuff in this dream as my normal self, because I know it's a dream. So I started trying to tap into the lucid dreaming, all of that type of stuff. So I would have moments though where I would kind of break free. So I realized like, this something don't seem right. I'll be in a dream and be like, something don't seem right. And then I kind of be like, this is a dream. And then boom. And that's when I sit up there and like wild out. So I start having dreams where and this was like real rare, but if I have a dream and I break free and be like, oh, this is I start lucidly dreaming. And then I sit up there, and this is the type of timing I was on. I sit up there and go to the nearest near his chick or something like that, and then I'll try to get it on and popping right then and there. Like, don't even care. Like, this is a dream. So I'm about to sit up there, and this is my time to get my rocks off. That's what it was. I was like, I'm about to get my rocks off. So I sat up there and did that about 2 times, like 1 or 2 times. And it was this last time, but every time I did it, it wasn't really a wet dream. Like something that happened where it'd get cut short, or like it really wouldn't go longer than like 3 seconds. Like literally, like it would literally get cut short every time. And I didn't want it, I didn't want it to get cut short. So every time I sat up there and it wouldn't go all the way through. You get what I'm saying? It wouldn't go all the way through. I just get more and more determined. Like, bro, I gotta sit up there and make that happen again. I gotta sit up there and get this wet dream off. I gotta get my rocks off in this damn dream. And that eventually, and then and this also turned into like some relapses in the course of this happening, because you got to think, I'm sitting up there dabbling with spirits. I'm dabbling with demonic spirits, trying to harness demonic energy to do wickedness, essentially. So this would turn into like relapses in the real world, because it's like, fuck it, I'm about to just woo woo woo. And when you sit up there and have those dreams, you essentially getting blue ball in the dream, and then you wake up, it's like damn, I gotta sit up there and get this feeling away now, because I just was literally damn near in the moment in a dream, and then now I'm back in the real world where it's nothing going on, it's just nothing. So then I would sit up there again, take that demonic frequency, that demonic energy that's now on me, and I sit up there and relapse in the real world, waste the energy, waste the seed, all of that type of stuff. So boom, I'm getting into the succubus encounter. Now it was this one time, this one dream where everything changed. This is where I stopped dealing with this shit altogether. Um, I sat up there, so boom, it's a regular day. I don't know if this is like a nap or whatever, but I just remember I was going to sleep, doing the same thing. I'm sitting up there thinking about some stuff, trying to make something shake, more than likely sitting up there thinking about all of the wrong stuff while before I went to sleep, right? So I'm sitting up there, boom. I go to sleep. Right? And in this dream I'm in school, right? So I'm in school. Everything is seeming pretty normal for the most part. I'm in class. I'm not. This is me being locked into the dream, not even knowing that it's a dream yet. But then one thing just set it all the way off, where I'm like, oh, this is a dream. Now, at the time, I had a girlfriend at this time, and we was in like a long distance relationship. I ended up moving to a different state and for a while, and she ended up staying, in my hometown. So, we met when I was in my hometown, but I ended up moving temporarily. And then boom. So we sit up there, we dating or whatever, on some long distance stuff. And in the school I was at, this was my high school inside of the dream I was at. So this is my high school. This is my high school I'm at in the dream. I've been graduated at this time. I graduated like a year ago. So yeah, I've been graduated, and I was sitting up there in my high school in the dream. And then that wasn't the red flag though. The red flag was the fact that the girl I was dating at the time was sitting right there in the classroom. And that just set it all off. Because I'm like, you didn't go to this school. And I'm like, this is a dream. So, and this is exactly how this happens, bro. Immediately, once I realize I'm inside of a dream, I get up. I said, what the teacher talking about, this is a dream, this ain't real, this is all an illusion. I sit up there, I get up, I go over to the girl. Girl is sitting there literally like like she's dead, like not dead, but she has no soul. She's literally sitting on the like hands on the desk like this, and she's just stuck, like gone. So I'm like, I go over there. I ain't even thinking about none of that. I go over there. I grab her, and then even that in itself, though, let me pause. That in itself is symbolic of how I was thinking about women at the time. Like, when you objectify women and when you sit up there abusing yourself, watching porn, doing all of this type of stuff, you start training your mind to see women as objects. You starting to see them as damn near sex dolls. And that's exactly what she was sitting there like. She was literally like a sex doll, just. So I go over there, I grab her hand. I ain't even thinking about the fact that she ain't even moving or nothing. Grab her hand, I take her. We leave the classroom, walk into like, we walking down this hall and go into like this corner area. And this corner area was like somewhere in a school where people really used to sit up there and and get off at, because it was like a corner area where cameras could see you, and kids was really on that. That's what they was doing. It is what it is. I took her to this corner area, started getting busy like right away, didn't hesitate. So I started taking off her clothes, and then I start getting into the act, right? Once I sit up there, and this is crazy. And I got to get a little graphic because this is how it came together. So we standing up, we standing up, we standing up. She's in front of me, like I'm about to just go into it, like like I'm about to go into it, right? So as I'm sitting up there starting, this shit fucks me up every time, bro. As I'm sitting up there getting started, I feel a old ass hand with long fingers and long fingernails like caress the side of my face, and it caressed the side of my face, and then I just hear a whisper in my ear, and that shit was like, "Data boy." And when I tell you, this shit scared the piss out of me. Like, I sat up there, like, I felt that shit go through my entire body, bro. Like, I sat up there and immediately forced myself awoke. Like, I didn't care about nothing that was going on no more. I just was like, it just came back and just woke up. And I ain't never, like, I literally spiritually ran away from that thing, bro. Because it was like, I didn't see his face or nothing. I just felt this presence. It said that shit in my ear, and I felt the long fingernails. Like, I seen the long hand and fingernails like go across the side of my face. And it was literally like that, a boy. In the most creepiest way you can imagine. It sounded like a old creepy witch lady, but I instantly knew what it was. I instantly knew what this shit was, bro. I'm like, that was the succubus spirit. I just knew what it was. I just instantly knew what it was. And I always knew that, porn and masturbation was evil and all of that type of stuff since I was like a child. Like I've been doing that, practicing that activity. I don't do it no more, but when I was like, I was in that rabbit hole since I was like 5, 6, like a very young age. So, but every time I did it, since the first time I did it, I would sit up there and pray. Just a child, like literally a child, would pray to God and be like, "I'm sorry for doing that. Please, don't sit up there and because I used to think God would sit up there and damn near just kill me, strike me down right then and there. Even as a little child, I would think that He would do that to me right then and there. So I would just keep praying. Every time I would do it, I'd be like, I'm not doing this ever again. I promise you, I'm not gonna do it ever again. And even though I did it many times afterwards, that just goes to show the grace that the Most High have on us. Because I used to be swearing when I was a kid. I used to be like, bro, I swear to you, and this and that, like I'm not gonna do this ever again, no more. And then long and behold, did it plenty times after. But again, all praise to the Most High, and I'm just thankful that He didn't sit up there and cross me out right then and there. But yeah, but to the present, that was one of the moments that literally like solidified my understanding of how evil and dark that whole frequency of corn, masturbation, demonic energy, demonic spirits. Like I understood the true darkness of it. And I ain't gonna say obviously, but yeah, I relapsed, multiple times after that moment. But that still was just one of them checkpoints, one of them stops in the journey where it was like, yo, this gotta stop. Like this ain't even fly. Like it's not cool. Once I sat up there and had a real encounter with the actual succubus spirit, and I just couldn't believe it. Even in the thumbnail, that's kind of like the closest representation in my head to what that thing would probably look like, as based off of the fingers, just based off the fingers and the energy I felt behind me. I was too petrified to even turn around and see what that even was behind me, because I'm right here, the girl is in front of me, like bent over, and I just felt all of that going on right behind me, like damn near, like it was whispering in my ear. So I damn sure wasn't finna sit up there and be like, or immediately once that thing said that shit, I just was like in a blink of an eye, I forced myself woke. And I thought about that entire day. For the next few days, I thought about that. And it was crazy, bro. That was crazy. That was my actual encounter with the succubus demon. And to those of you out there battling lust, it's a real thing. The Bible say in 2 Timothy 2:22 to flee from youthful lust. You gotta flee from it. You gotta flee away from youthful lust. If you are a grown man in 2025, and I know it's always easy to say when you on a streak and everything like that, but where I'm at in my life, like again, I just don't see it. I don't see the relapse no more, because it's just like, bro, we can't be doing it. Like times is getting too uncertain. The king could come back at any moment, and you do not want to be somebody who, and this is gonna be a lot of people. This is gonna be a lot of people. A lot of people, when the king comes back, they're gonna be in the middle of beating their meat. If I had my soundboard, I'd have hit the button on y'all. But a lot of people, when the king come back, is gonna be literally beating their meat in the process, and you're gonna be cooked because you are right in the middle of having demon sex as the Messiah is here, bro. And you don't want to be that person, because he's gonna come like a thief in the night. They say he's gonna just come out of nowhere when you least expect it. He's just gonna be there. It's just gonna pop in, and you don't want to be lacking when the Messiah is here. You don't want to be that person that's still battling these things. You want to be free of blemish when he returns, bro. You want to be free of blemish. And these things, you got to sit up there and understand that Satan has no new tricks. Satan has no new tricks. He's going to continuously hit you the exact same way. You just got to sit up there and learn the patterns. You got to learn. You got to catch on to his ways. You got to catch on to his same tactics that he's gonna keep regurgitating, keep recycling in your life. If you know that Instagram is sitting up there soft core, right? If you know that Instagram, every time you log on to Instagram, you're gonna see cheeks, you're gonna see cleavage, you're gonna see everything that's gonna make you want to sit up there and stare, because when you staring at something, you got to understand the eyes is the windows to your soul. If you sit up there staring at a girl's ass on Instagram, you got to understand that you're downloading her actual butt into your brain, into your memory. So now you're going to sit up there and be thinking about that and thinking about that, and you're going to be wanting to see more and more and more. Even in real life, if you sit up there, see a girl, it's summertime and she walking down the street, short shorts. A lot of these girls out here now, they shorts look like drawers. So they sitting up there, got everything hanging out. And if you sitting up there looking at it and you staring at it, you're downloading her actual body to your memory. And then later on, the demons is now, they have an entry point. You gave them an entry point. You gave them somewhere that they can come in and now play on your brain and be like, remember you saw that? When don't you want to see some more? Go on Instagram real quick. You're going to see something else. Go on Instagram. Then you go on Instagram. Then you be like, this ain't, then that demon gonna be like, that's not enough. You know you need more than that. Go to the site real quick. 5-10 seconds ain't gonna hurt you. And then boom, next thing you know, you relapsing. But the devil does the same thing over and over. If you are that person, you on and you know that Instagram is a trigger point for you, stay off of Instagram. Don't get on there. If you ain't doing no kind of, if you ain't, only time I like to get on Instagram is if I'm promoting a video or something like that. Outside of that, what's my reason in being on there? There's nothing, I don't have no interest in seeing other people's lives like that, or you know what other people got going on. I don't care. So it's like, I don't care about nobody's selfies. I don't care about nobody's life updates. I don't care about none of that. So it'd be like, what's the reason of even being on Instagram? I go on Instagram to promote for the people who be on Instagram. So get them something productive to look at. And you know, that's what that real life, if you sitting up there seeing, but if you are on there and you seeing something, bro, you gotta click not interested. Click those 3 buttons and put not interested so they can stop recommending that stuff to you. And if you in real life, you see somebody walking down the street, she got it all hanging out, you gotta start having the discipline and telling yourself that this woman is a trap sent by the enemy, because this is how Satan really operates. Satan is the god of this world, lowercase g. He'll sit up there and send these women to you. Like, he will literally have these women purposely walking out here with their butt out, with the cleavage out, and have them walk right across your pathway. He'll have them walk right across your pathway just to set a trap for you. And that's how important that you are. And you got to understand that when you see that stuff, you got to be like, man, I'm not even about to look. I'm about to turn the other way. You got to turn the other way. And that's all of that stuff is going to help you start blocking out Satan's entry points, because he's going to try a lot of different things. And it's really, he's not going to try a lot of different things because he don't got that many ways to access you when you think about it. He's going to try, either he's going to try to use your phone, or he's going to try to send some little honey traps and all of that stuff to you in person. But once you get over them initial traps that he set, like, it's really nothing he could do. He can't get to you. You know, I said this in one of my other videos. This is how Satan work. He like to hit you with if y'all seen that episode of Family Guy, where it's the dude that be like, ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. That's how the devil like to get. He like to put little pieces of candy, and you thinking they harmless, but they are leading you to the inevitable relapse. They are leading you to the inevitable, you know, you actually sinning, going full-blown sin mode. So he's going to hit you with the piece of candy, or you thinking it's harmless. Oh, I'm going to look at this girl, and then I'm going to go to her page, and then look at this, and then look at that, then look at this, and look at that, then look at this. I got control. I'm going to look at this. He's going to keep sitting up there corrupting your mind until you eventually fully just give up, and then you give into the sin. And every time you give into the sin, you're gonna regret it. There's never not gonna be a time after you sit up there and take this narrow path that you sit up there and seeing and cross over, and you're gonna feel gratified at the end of it. So, flee from the youthful lust, get all of this stuff out of your brain, get all of this stuff out of your mind. Only way you can do that is protecting your eyes and protecting your ears. Protect what goes in your ears, the type of conversations you having with people. If you know you talking to a person who likes to talk about, getting their rocks off and the things they doing in this world, you can't even be on that, because that stuff will sit up there and pollute your mind and play into your brain, and that'd be an entry point. So you gotta make sure you having righteous conversations. Or if you can't do any of that, you just gotta steady yourself. You gotta steady yourself, get in your word, do what you gotta do to protect your peace and protect your spirit, because these demonic forces are very real. That succubus demon, what that thing did, it showed me that it's more to this spirituality than just, oh, spirituality. Because a lot of people think, just because somebody say they spiritual off rip, that mean something good. Because I was spiritual at the time, but that's the type of stuff I was practicing. I was practicing demonic spirituality. I'm sitting up there trying to conquer lustful sexual energies and all of this stuff before I go to sleep, so I can sit up there and essentially have demon sex. That's all it is. And if you having a wet dream, that's a demon essentially raping you. But in this case, I was volunteering myself to the demon for it to have sex with me on some crazy stuff. And then as I was doing it, the demon was getting gratification from it. The demon literally told me, "That a boy," in my ear, like, "Yeah, you're doing the right thing. This is what you're supposed to be doing." And that shit, that changed everything. That changed the game, because I ain't never felt present so evil ever. Like, it literally scared me crazy. Like, I ain't never ran away without running. That was a crazy experience. I ran away without even running. I sat up there and portaled myself back to the real world. And I done had dreams where I done been I done been stuck. I ain't gonna say stuck in the dream, but I was kind of like stuck in the dream. Like, I couldn't wake up exactly when I wanted to wake up. Like, I sat up there and darted out of the spiritual realm and back into the real world off of a blink, off of a jump, like literally brought myself back and just was like, hell no, hell no. But that's the video, man. I just wanted to get on here, tell y'all that story. I've been holding that one in for a while. And yeah, hopefully y'all can learn something from this little experience. I don't really be having too many stories to tell and all of that. But yeah, man, that's the video for today. Happy Sabbath to everybody. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe again. Love y'all. Take care. Stay safe. I'm on y'all boys.